Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank all my colleagues for their work to lead on different solutions to lower barriers and streamline the processes for deploying broadband to all Americans. This amendment includes several provisions authored by my Republican colleagues addressing everything from duplicate or unnecessary environmental reviews, limiting unnecessary application fees, and providing certainty on the timelines for reviewing permitting requests. At our legislative hearing, we heard from experts that broadband permitting remains a barrier to closing the digital divide. Today, we are taking an important step to unleash innovation and turbocharge public and private investment. First, my amendment would streamline the process for requesting approvals to deploy new broadband infrastructure, including wireless towers or structures, fixed broadband and fiber optic cables, and cable service provider requests. The amendment would require that application fees to review permitting applications are based on actual and direct cost, that providers receive a response within a reasonable amount of time, and that there are clear rules of the road for when these timeframes begin and end. And in cases where a broadband provider thinks they were wrongfully denied the ability to provide service, they can receive relief so that they can focus their time and energy on what matters most, connecting all Americans. Second, my amendment will streamline the process for requesting approval to upgrade existing infrastructure, including adding 5G to existing 4G towers, upgrading old copper lines to fiber, or deploying Open RAN compatible technologies that will help trusted equipment vendors develop an alternative to Chinese vendors like Huawei and ZTE. These changes will help limit the environmental impact of needing new infrastructure by encouraging providers to upgrade facilities in areas that have already undergone an environmental or historical preservation review. Finally, my amendment will ensure that environmental reviews for broadband deployments are proportional to the level of deployment taking place. In cases where broadband providers are simply upgrading infrastructures in right-of-ways that have already been disturbed by other communications or electric utility infrastructure, an environmental review has already been undertaken and the land has already been disturbed. My amendment would remove the requirement to undergo these reviews where broadband infrastructure is being deployed entirely in an area for which a review has already been conducted and infrastructure already exists. This includes waiving the environmental reviews to replace untrusted equipment that is eligible for reimbursement under the Secure and Trusted Communications Networks Act. This straightforward reform will remove a key barrier to broadband deployment, especially on federal lands where reviews can take more than 2 years. This amendment combines legislation led by every one of my Republican colleagues on this committee, and I would like to thank them for their thoughtful proposals to bring affordable broadband to their communities quickly and ensure that taxpayer dollars are not wasted on more red tape. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment, and I yield back.